It is a beautiful day in Singapore today, so I'm walking around getting some parts for my R&D projects. And I would like to explain better the relationship between jet blasters in Singapore. Even my friends and my family don't really understand it. And it is a little confusing. Yes, it is. Jet Blasters is a company that partnered with Xplorer to make the Zeus 2 shell. Okay? And they partnered with them to do 4 of the projects. 4. Well, they did 1, and they partially completed the second one. But then things got bad with the 2, and Jet Blaster started to have an R&D department. And when they had an R&D department, me being hired, my head engineer being hired, that's when things went kind of south. And the thing is now, is that the CETA, we have it, we're building it on our own, okay? Archer, building it on our own. The Alpha Kit, on our own. It's our own breach, it's our own system, okay? And we are designing it, testing it, engineering it, all in-house. So, when I got here to Singapore in November, it was kind of, tricky. When I was hired here, everyone was in good, relations with each other, Xplorer and Jet. But when I got here, everything was kind of a Cold War, I guess you could say is the best way to say it. And it was a tough situation. We had a lot of problems with the rejection rates on the shells that we were getting, that were partnered with Xplorer to build the shells with a manufacturer in China. Now, we had moved to one in Taiwan that's better quality, and that's working out really well. But I will tell you this, is that I work for Jet Blasters. I don't work for Xplorer. Okay? Jet Blasters is Jet Blasters, Xplorer is Xplorer. A partnership is a partnership, but it doesn't define the whole company, okay? And the Jet Blaster shell was wrapped with a lot of propriety and a lot of problems. A lot of that I saw with the CETA as well, such as it was made more for a UX ret than it was a standard retaliator, and we can't have that. We're trying to be, a shell needs to be in general, work with retaliator parts, and if it's a long shot shell, a long shot parts in general, okay? It needs to work with them. It needs to work well with them, not for one certain set of parts. The dart gate was about a millimeter farther back, so you couldn't use standard mags. Ridiculous. So, my head engineer, brilliant guy, okay? He came up with this idea of splitting up the shell. Same thing we're doing with the Archer, where we're making it frame releasable. He came up with this idea of splitting a shell so that you can easily, on the field, change it out. You want to make a more powerful spring for the next round? Go for it. You want a weaker spring because you want higher rate of fire? Go for it. You want to change out your breech? Go for it. You just have to take off the 2 pins and there it is. Just change it out real easy. And what this does in the field is it makes it so you can service it on the fly. Unheard of. Normally you have to take out all these little screws just to work with them, The customizability is excellent. Well, we wanted something that was much more flexible, and what we were getting from Xplorer and from their design team was something that was more proprietary, more best for them. And I could say the same thing on the Zeus. For example, that first support needs to be 23.5 millimeters ground down, and it's tighter. It does not fit an artifact breech, nor will, because you got that little square by your trigger housing, nor will a normal artifact trigger fit there. Now, I'm not trying to cater to artifact or anything, but they're our colleagues, they're our friends. If we're making friends being they're part of our community, and if we're making something in general that we want to work in general with all our kits, with everybody, then we need to make it in general work, or else we are being biased towards one or another. And when you're making a shell kit, that's not exactly fair. A shell kit has to work with everything out there. It's just like an internals kit. Okay, you make a Retaliator internal kit. You only have to be ready for one kit. And what kit is that? What blaster is that? A Retaliator, right? Same for a long shot. It only pretty much has to work for a long shot. The problem with shells, however, is that you have to be prepared for every kind of shell on, every kind of kit on the planet. May it be a Remedy Metal, may it be Artifact, may it be Xplorer, may it be an Alpha Breach, may it be Orange Modworks. Not easy to do. It's not easy to make everybody happy. So if on top of that you're also being proprietary, that just makes things worse. It makes things harder. I gotta say this, Heng is not a good collaborator. In a world where you're going from prototyping to CAD, to machining your tooling, to production of your parts, to shipping, to distribution, to everything, you have to collaborate. Because you got a lot of members on your team, and you have a lot of people that are involved that may agree with you, may disagree with you, but you have to be able to address your concerns, and they have to be welcome. May you agree with them as the head guy, may you disagree with them, okay? They still have to be welcome, and that atmosphere of creativity needs to be encouraged. Now, of course, you got a head guy that's gonna say, I'm doing it, I'm not doing it. That's true, and that's fine. But I don't believe that Heng is really that kind of a team member, and that's really sad, because here's a guy who I believe is very creative, smart. I'm his friend for years, okay? And I love the guy, but as soon as I got in business and did something else, worked for Jet Blasters, that's when things went awry with me and him. And he's no longer on my block because of it. So at any rate, that is the deal between me and Jet Blasters, between Jet Blasters and Heng, okay? And I wanted to fully, clearly state officially, we are not involved with Xplorer. That's it, okay? So anyway, I just reached the paint store I gotta go to, and to work on some customizing of some shells. You say classy people, take care.